Well, welcome back, everyone, to this edition of the Stogie Geek Show, brought to you by the Havana Cigar Club. This segment is, September 7th. They're having a Patriots tailgate party. This event will feature La Aurora Cigars, liquor samplers, barbecue, and all kinds of deals on La Aurora all day. There's 40 spots available. It's $35 for members, $40 for non-members. Contact the shop for more details at havana-cigar-club.com. Okay. Now, Stogie Santa's he's dancing and falling in the studio. So we're going to cut to Mr. Will Cooper to talk about your first smoke of the week.
Okay, one of the cigars that I think has been getting a lot of attention from people around the show was the Joya de Nicaragua Joya Red. So I've actually been smoking a few of these, and this is it's a Nicaraguan puro that's been released, or it's about to be released by Joya. I smoked a pre-release from the trade show, and the big differentiator about this cigar is it's moving away from the Joya de Nicaragua powerhouses. So they're to do this, what they've done is they've actually dialed the blend back. They're putting a lot less ligeros. They're staying away from the thick wrappers, and they're making a lot more use of piso and lower priming Habano. As a result, the cigar is actually able to get the price of the cigar down to reasonable. And I smoked the 5 1/4 by 50 Robusto, which is going to be priced at $5.75. Very reasonable cigar. The cigar absolutely achieves its goal. This is not a cigar that's even going to approach medium. It's going to be mild to medium in both strength and body. So, but the thing is, I kind of felt for this blend, it worked really well. So if you're not in the mood for a cigar that's going to be very heavy on the palate, morning smoke, this is a good cigar. It's got plenty of sweet natural tobacco. It's got some notes of nut. It's got some toast, and it's got a nice citrus undertone, which is not that acidic citrus, but a little more of that sweet citrus. A little bit of pepper, but again, you're not going to get pepper on this particular cigar until the very end. It's a good cigar. Since it was pre-release, I didn't rate it, but if I'm going to say what it will be, I don't think it would be box-worthy, but it would probably be somewhere around a fiver and box split in that range. We'll see what happens once they actually make it to the stores.
Excellent. Mark Jr., over to you.
I smoked a bunch of the new stuff that just came out at the show, and one of them was the this year's Racine from L'Atelier.
Wow, I was like, how did you get that? I didn't even get one of those.
I've been sworn to secrecy. So Stogie Santa gifted this to me when he got back from my... Wait, did I say that out loud?
No.
The flavors I thought were very consistent with the first one in terms of like a honey sweetness, cedar spice. I thought the spice was more prevalent on the retrohale. I went back to my old notes from the other ones, and I had said that the sweetness was more prevalent on the retrohale. So, that was a slight difference there. I also thought this one had a slightly stronger profile, like flavor profile in terms of like spice. So, but that being said, I find it to be very consistent with the first one with a couple slight differences. Those slight differences, in my opinion, would probably bump this up from a fiver to a box split on this one. So I thought it was a very good smoke. I thought the first one was a very good smoke too, though.
So Mark Jr., the first one I felt needed a little more time. Now, this one you had, did you feel it was kind of a lot more ready?
Yeah, that's probably true. Okay. I don't think I smoked the first one right away, so I didn't necessarily get that off the first one. But this one was a good smoke. I really enjoyed it, and I will definitely be getting some when they come into the shop.
Nice. They're in now.
When they come in today?
A couple of days ago. Yep. They are. Right I agree. They're the 46 needed time. The aging potential on this torpedo is really, really. I think it's going to be even better.
Stogie saying I'm talking about the Racine, not the special.
I'm sorry, the Racine. Oh, the Racine hasn't come in. Oh, my bad.
Stogie saying that's okay. Over to you.
The Joel Sherman 75th celebration.
The Joel Sherman?
Yeah. Yep.
So Joel is one of that's the Sherman in Nat
Right.
Sherman. Is that the father or the grandfather or
It's Nat Sherman's son.
Nat Sherman's son?
Right.
Okay.
The wrapper on this, Ecuadorian Connecticut, Dominican binder and filler, 75 by 46 is $20 a stick. Only what 25? What's that? 2,500, I believe. That's going to be produced in a case out of factory. I'll tell you, the first thing that jumped up of this cigar was the wrapper. It looks and it feels so smooth. It is really, really great. And the presentation from the box to everything is amazing, amazing. The dry drawer is a great introduction to the flavors of the cigar. I got a little nutty and pepper and earth off it right off the dry drawer, right off the bat. The first third of this cigar opens up with a creaminess and a touch of cedar and a nice touch of pepper and the front of my tongue, and it was just a perfect balance. The combination of the cigar enhances the balance and burns. Everything about the cigar is perfect. It really is. The second third of the cigar, the elements of this flavor enhances even more with a nuttiness, citrus, sweetness. With all the flavors going on, the best way I can explain this cigar is a symphony of flavors. It really is. It's extraordinary. I really enjoyed it. The last third of this cigar is my favorite part of the cigar, the back nine of the cigar. With all the flavors going on, nothing's fighting it. Nothing is dominant. It's perfectly balanced. It really is an amazing cigar. With all that being said, I was gifted this by Mike Herklots and the Nat Sherman family. This cigar is absolutely one of the belle of the balls. It is a box worthy. I've only smoked one. I could see this quickly becoming an Oasis cigar.
Really?
Wow.
It is really an amazing, everything going on with the cigar. It's just simply awesome. It's just typical Nat Sherman, where it's not about the strength. It's all about the flavors. Everything in this is amazing. The box. Wait till you see the box on this cigar. It's awesome. I should have took the picture of it. And
we got some on the Stogie feed.
Right.
If you go to the IPCPR coverage on the Stogie feed, there's pictures out there.
I'm telling you, one of the outstanding cigars of this show. I was simply blown away. This cigar is a special cigar. Nothing short of amazing. I just don't want to go that far and say Oasis. It's only one cigar. But I'm telling you what, for $20, $19-20, whatever it's going to be, barring taxes, wherever you're going to be, absolutely balanced. Like I said, it's a home run. It really is. Nothing short of spectacular. I think people are really going to love this for what it lacks. I wouldn't say, I hate to use it. I don't want to use it. If people are looking for a full-body cigar, it's not. It's full-flavored. It is absolutely superb. I really enjoy this coupe, and Paul and Mark, I can't wait for you guys to review the cigar. I think you're all going to love this cigar. It really is a special cigar. It was one of my favorites of the show.
Wow.
Yeah, it really did. It stuck out there. It really did. I smoked this on a nice clean palate, black cup of coffee, and it just, the nuttiness, which I forgot to bring that out, everything, the balance, I can't say enough. And again, I know I use this all the time. The combustion rate on this cigar really enhanced the flavor of the cigar. The draw was perfect. Everything. I just an amazing cigar. I think this is going to do very well. So when it comes,
what size was the one that you smoked?
7.5 by 46.
Yeah, that's the only size.
That's the only size that comes in.
That's the only size.
It's the
I just
only
saw
size.
Coop's picture here. It looks like
It is. Wait till you see everything. I mean, it's
I like the
typical.
packaging.
It's a typical Nat Sherman cigar. I'll do the same thing with Phil Zangi. This is another one. It's a classy, sophisticated, but yet not stuffy. It really is. Everything about it, I'm telling you, it's a very special cigar. For people who haven't smoked this, search it out. It's going to be a limited cigar, and $20 is again. We'll go back to what we were saying in Australia. It's it doesn't seem like much. But this is well worth that cigar. Please try the cigar.
So, as many of our listeners know, I make the trek out to Las Vegas for a completely different conference for computer security, and I visited Casa Fuente. And did you know Casa Fuente spins? Well, it was spinning for me.
Yeah.
One night while I was there.
Well, it spins a lot for you.
It does. Well, on Friday.
I never have that issue.
On Friday, there was a lot of Stogie Geeks and Security Weekly listeners bringing me drinks at the booth, and then went to the Mexican place and had margaritas, and it was. Anyway, at Casa Fuente, they had a specific Forbidden X cigar that was there. Now, Mark Jr., it was not the same cigar in the bottle size that I bought last year while I was out there. This was
Toro.
it was a different size. It was a Toro-ish size cigar. So it was kind of like a double Robusto, which is a 5.7 by 52, except this particular one had a slight box press to it, and it had cedar on the end of it. And when I took the cedar off, it was kind of dusty with a little bit of plume. They were $60 a cigar. I ended up buying 3 of them. I smoked 2 of them while I was out there. One of them was on Friday when I was a little tipsy when I walked in there.
One?
The third one's in my humidor.
That's
I didn't bring it here. I should have brought it here so I could show on the show what it was. So I'm not exactly sure which Forbidden X it was. Like I said, it's very similar to a double Robusto, except it has a slight box press to it, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, complexity, sweetness, spice, perfectly balanced. It was just an outstanding cigar. Spending $60 a cigar is not something I recommend for people. I think being a little tipsy weighed into the purchasing decision to get some of those cigars, but I did manage to bring one home with me.
I don't
to
think tipsy
age
has
them.
anything to do with it.
I think it had everything to do with it.
No.
Well, maybe not. Maybe I would have probably
Not with
bought
you.
3 anyhow. But they were really, really good. Again, I'm still kind of struggling with which one it was. But I would say it's a 4.75 wet spot in my shorts for sure. Both times I went in there, I went to Casa Fuente twice, Thursday night and Friday night, and I smoked that same cigar both times when I was in there because it was just
You had the same experience I did. Isn't it wonderful?
So good. It really was an awesome cigar. I know $60 is a heck of a lot of money to spend on a cigar. But, when you're out in Vegas, you're commiserating with friends. You want to celebrate. It is what it is. And I tell you what, I got no regrets. It was
People
awesome.
blow more money at the craps table than on a cigar like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a very
And you get
enjoyable
something
experience
out of
both
it.
nights with the cigars. And I tell you what, it's a slight box
What are we
press.
all lighting up here?
Awesome.
Now, anyway, for our
So I actually lit up an Opus X cigar in honor of our very special guest, Dave. I lit up the Super Bellicoso Triple X, and I've just been smoking the snot out of these because whether they're aged or whether they're fresh, they deliver an awesome smoking experience. And I'll tell you, there was another place that if you're in Vegas, you should check out. This place won't break the bank. You can smoke in it. You can smoke. So I walk in, all my friends are sitting there smoking cigars. I'm like, this is awesome. Go back to the car, got my cigars, and I lit up the Opus X Triple Bellicoso. And pairing this cigar, which has a very strong flavor profile to it. I mean, not only strong in nicotine, right, but I think it's got it pairs well with a lot of drinks that are somewhat stronger on the palate. It's got a full body to it, a lot of sweetness. Love this cigar. It's a perfect size. And the drink was, the bar rather, was Frankie's Tiki Room. And I tell you, if you like to have cocktails, or even not, if you like to go have a cocktail, and I'm not just talking about straight scotch or beer or what. I mean, we drink a lot, scotch, rum, whiskey on the show. Have a nice cocktail. I had an old fashioned, a Sazerac, and some other random drink. You can just ask the bartender. You're like, hey, I like whiskey, I like old fashions. What do you like to drink? And it was just an awesome experience. He made this one called the Wacky Wachusett. It was just fantastic, paired perfectly with a cigar.
I would love to see you say that word.
Wacky Wachusett after
All
the night, after those 3 drinks. Yeah, exactly. Mark Jr., you would appreciate this. I mean, he was a true mixologist, right? He took my old fashioned, he poured it over the lemon peel. Just awesome experience. When your drinks are blended like the same way with as much care as a cigar is, right? It adds to the experience. So it's Frankie's Tiki Room. It's a little off the strip in Vegas. If you're out there, I highly recommend you check it out. Great drinks that go with cigars, and you can smoke right in there. So that was great. Will, back to you.
So I think we mentioned this cigar a couple of weeks ago, Stogie, Sandra, and I. But I actually really I picked up. They just arrived at the shops. The AJ Fernandez New World Navigante, which is the 5.5 by 55 Robusto. This is a Nicaraguan Puro line that just got released by AJ Fernandez. It's actually in 4 sizes, and it's kind of unusual because 3 of the 4 sizes are 55 ring gauge, and then there's 158 ring gauge. This is a $6 cigar, and I tell you what, this is going to be a monster hit for AJ Fernandez.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to sell a lot of this cigar. It's a really good cigar for the price. I was blown away how much I enjoyed this cigar. It's got, I talked a lot about good Maduros. This is one of those really good Maduros. Dark chocolate, earth, pepper. It's got that Maduro sweetness to it. It's about a medium to full-bodied smoke. It goes to full-body towards the end. The strength is about medium to full. I think the strength may dial back over time to more of a medium. Construction was excellent. For $6, I think this cigar is just going to really, really be a big hit for them because it actually delivers. And I've smoked a few of these now. I smoked at the show. I was really enjoying it. But when I got home and my palate was refreshed, this was. I love this cigar. Box worthy. The $6 for a box of 21. You can't go wrong with that. $6 a stick for a box. Coming in a box of 21s.
I agree wholeheartedly with that assessment.
I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I told you that when I had it at the show, I had a couple of them, and it was really good.
Mark Jr., over to you.
I smoked one of the new Caldwell Cigar Company cigars.
Yes. Which size did you smoke?
I smoked the King is Dead, and it's the Broken Sword size, which is a 5x40 Rothschild, I think. It had a Dominican Negrito wrapper, Dominican Corojo binder, Dominican filler. Now, admittedly, I wanted to bring this out because, admittedly, I don't know what Negrito tobacco is, and I was hoping Coop would.
I don't know. I got to be, and I was down, and that was one of the questions. I was with Robert, and I forgot to ask him that over the weekend.
Was that the one that was the kind of like the old guy with the beard on the?
No, that's the Eastern Standard.
Eastern
that has a
Standard.
Connecticut
Eastern Standard.
wrapper.
Okay, that's the one I smoked. So let me hear what you had to say. That's the one you smoked.
Right.
I was it was pretty unique flavor, and I'm gonna take the easy way out here. I couldn't really put my finger on what the flavor was. I only smoked one, and it was in the lounge at Mr. J's. So there was a few other people smoking there. So sometimes it makes it a little more difficult to put your finger on it exactly. I'm gonna have to try another one. But I would say, just on the fact that I don't know if I've smoked anything that tastes similar to that I would say it's definitely worth trying one and developing your own opinion. But it had like a richness to it. It had a very slight pepper to it. But again, I think I'd have to smoke another one out on my deck or something like that where I could pay more attention to it with no distractions, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tell you, I was down in Chattanooga over the weekend, and Robert, it was the Chattanooga Tweet Up, and I'll tell you, Robert Caldwell was the hit of the Tweet Up. His cigars, were really flying down there, and people were enjoying them. And I've smoked some of the others, and this one I have not smoked. I keep confusing it with the King is Dead. They are unique cigars. They're very different. If you think of Robert Caldwell Linwood, you need to kind of put that aside. And I'm going to talk about a Caldwell cigar a little later that I smoked, but I'm telling you that this line is going to do very well. People were really enjoying those cigars.
Coop, this was the King is Dead.
Yeah, I smoked the Long Live the King, which is the Rojo.
Okay.
Is that the one with the bearded guy on the label?
No,
that's the Eastern Standard. The guy it's the one with the crown. The big crown is the King is Dead.
I smoked the Eastern.
Sorry. Long Live the King is the one with the big crown. I keep confusing the two.
Yeah. While we're on it, I smoked the Robusto size of the Eastern Standard. That's the one with the guy on it. I'm holding it up for the camera right now.
Yeah.
I smoked the Robusto size. This is the Corona size. You didn't like? I thought it was good. I thought it was a solid fiver. I thought it had kind of a. Really? I thought it had kind of a crisp flavor. I like the Robusto size.
I like the Corojo one.
I would smoke more.
The Corojo, yeah, me too.
The Corojo had that nice sweetness to it.
Yeah, this one wasn't sweet. Like I said, it kind of had a crisp spiciness to it. I would say it's worthy of a fiver in my book. I enjoyed smoking the Robusto.
I'm glad he got away from that
That Winwood thing.
That Winwood
like
thing.
Will said, you got to put that Winwood thing
You gotta put it
far
away.
out of your mind because the one I smoked was nothing like Winwood. I
Thank
thought it was a
God.
solid cigar. It was a solid fiver, and I enjoyed smoking it. Stogie Santa, back to you.
Yeah, I had the LFD 1994.
I
I
had
don't hear
one
about this
too.
one.
7x54 in Miami. Its the wrapper is the Mexican San Andreas. Binder filler, Dominican. The artwork is like it introduces some of the old with the new with it. The wrapper wasn't the most eye-pleasing by any means of the imagination.
What was this, an LFD what?
1994.
Mhm.
The dry draw, I really couldn't pick up any prevalent type flavors off it. I got a sweetness off it. The first of the cigar was I got a lot of sweetness, and then all of a sudden I got this little pepper, more so on the retrohale. This particular type of San Andreas was different from most. The sweetness level was decent. The thing I found with this was a little bit, again, the dryness was, it would deter me from it, but it was okay. It took away a little bit, but not a lot. The second part of this cigar, I found too loose and chewy. Just too much of the combustion coming through. Too much for me. There was a pepper in it. It wasn't your typical type of LFD with it was in your face with a lot of spice by any means. Not at all. It was a different LFD, which was good. It's not the typical LFD, the 700s or the 500s, that type of cigar. Totally different. It changes up subtly, but not all that much. I just didn't find a lot with this cigar going on. It was okay. The last third, it was fighting itself. I didn't know what it was doing. I really didn't know. I didn't find the cigar overly pleasing for me. I go anywhere between a angler and maybe possibly a fiver. There's been a lot of talk up with this cigar, and maybe I'm missing something. I'll have to try another one. I wasn't overly satisfied with it, but maybe maybe I got this particular cigar. It's only one, so I don't want to base too much over it. But it's totally different. I give them that much credit that they're trying to do something different. And with the San Andreas, I'm just kind of like oversaturated with this particular wrapper, but it was different.
It was a natural wrapper on that one. I believe.
Yeah, it's not San Andreas Maduro.
I thought no, it's just Mexican San Andreas, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all
They are
right.
coming out with a
Natural. It's
Maduro
not a
next. They're gonna
Maduro.
be
No,
one of the
no,
beer
no, no,
stein.
no, no. But I don't know. I'll have to revisit this in a little bit of time. I just didn't find it to be pleasing for me. That's all. I just got to I got to revisit it. I wasn't overly fond of the cigar. I think, like I said, the last third, I had a hard time with it. I just didn't like the back nine of the cigar. It really didn't. It just.
So if I could chime in too, I smoked one of those, and I thought it was. I had a slightly different experience. I actually enjoyed my cigar. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a little. It was definitely. I agree with you in that it was definitely way different than any other LFD that I've had in the past. I found the cigar to have like sort of a fatty richness to it, right? And we talk about like that with debonair. It's not like that. It's much more toned down than it is in a debonair, but it sort of had a little bit of that, like a hint of that, I suppose you could say.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get white pepper and cedar in the beginning, and as it went along, the spiciness ramped up a little bit. Now, I want to say I agree with what you said about it's not like that over-the-top spiciness that you can get from a lot of other LFD stuff, but it changed up a little bit for me. I actually enjoyed this cigar more than you did.
Yeah.
Now, there was somebody out there that rated it a 94. I think that's crazy.
I mean, that's.
I don't think it's that good.
No. Like I said, I got the pepper I got off. It was more in the retrohale, and it amped up a little bit in strength. And I give them credit to try to change things up. By all means, they got to do something with that. But again, there's a lot of good feedback on the cigar, and I don't want to place a whole bunch of emphasis on just one. So I'll go back and I'll revisit it. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I just find it. We'll give it another try. We really will. So that being said,
Stogies, you got to help me out with this cigar. I purchased this at Mr. J's Havana Smoke
yeah,
Shop.
that's the cream.
Yeah, what's the manufacturer on there? What is it?
That's going to be from.
What does that say?
No.
It's
the
cream. Yeah,
Coupe.
Kreme. Coupe. What is
Oh,
that?
the Cuellar cream by Villiger.
Cuellar
thank
cream
you.
by Villiger.
Yeah,
Okay.
Villiger. Isn't it surprising?
So,
In fact, we have them on the show in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Mr. Paul Joyle was actually in the shop when I stopped by earlier in the week, and I saw this new Connecticut, and I'm like, "What's up with this?" He's like, "Yeah, you got." He's like, "You got to try one." He's like, "I think they're really good." And this was the Robusto size, and I tell you what, there was this like hint of spice, subtle that balanced out the. It makes you. I'm glad you verified that with me. It makes me think I'm not crazy because it was a Connecticut cigar, but it had that little bit of spice that kind of kept your senses like on alert, but. They call it the cream, and I tell you what, it's a very creamy cigar.
Absolutely.
But it balances that cream with a little bit of spice. And I was extremely, extremely impressed with this Connecticut. Like, I really thought that I had smoked so many Connecticut's that it was really hard to impress me with the Connecticut. I tell you what, they knocked it out of the park.
Oh,
on this
they
one.
did. They
this
did
is
a great.
a box-worthy cigar.
That's
all day
the
long.
one I was at. I was talking to our rep, Dave, and I smoked one at the show. I said, Paul, we're going to bring it in. It's just something in the morning with a black cup. Again,
Yeah,
I
you
always
gotta-
go back to coffee.
Yeah,
It's
you got to
smoke it at the right time.
Not all of us have, and I was thinking the same thing with this cigar, right? It was my first cigar of the day. I had it with coffee. And if you're going to do a lot of these Connecticut's, the time of day you smoke them is extremely important.
Isn't that the truth?
And not all of us have the opportunity to wake up in the morning and light up a cigar. I totally get that, right? But when you do, this is a cigar you should reach for. I'm telling you what. This
caught me.
Connecticut,
It
blew
it's
me
not.
away. It blew me away.
It again, the Villiger series when it came out. What was the one with the number on it? Coupe. They had a Villiger.
125.
No, the other one.
The 1888.
1888. The Corona in that cigar was really good, but the price point was crazy. And I give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, because it's the kind of same thing a lot of manufacturers or some manufacturers go through where they make machine-made cigars, which is some of Villiger's known for.
Good point.
This cigar is absolute. I mean, it is nothing. Like, you might as well treat them as separate companies. This cigar is very good.
Mark Jr. would. I just know.
Yeah, you would really like this.
No,
Connecticut.
I don't think he would.
No.
Nope.
If
No,
you smoked it
I don't
first
think he would either.
No, it's not. Mark Jr.
I really
likes
liked
that.
it.
I know where.
Do you know who blended that cigar?
Who's that?
Hochi Blanco.
Yeah. Knocked it out of the park, dude.
He
I'll
really
tell you
did.
what.
He
I'm telling you
really
what.
did.
This
Hey,
cigar's
I'm
awesome.
surprised. I was really. Dave came over to me and says, Mark, I want you to smoke the cigar. And what Paul made a super point. It was like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I had a coffee. And I said, you know something? Some Connecticut's can be just blah.
Blah.
You know what I mean?
This is not.
It's okay.
Spice coupled with cream. And I'll tell you what.
The spice, it comes and it goes. It's not.
It holds your attention that way.
It does.
Though.
Mark Jr. would be a little. It's not. It's not.
It might not be as full bodied
won't.
enough for Mark Jr.
It's not so much full body. The flavor concentration. I just don't see it for him.
Yeah.
I just don't see it for him. Whereas opposed to the pink.
Yeah,
totally
you know what's
different.
interesting you say that. I didn't get a lot of like sweetness from the cigar or a lot of like flavors, but it had a very creamy component and it had a spicy component. It's still box worthy in my opinion. I would rip through these in the morning all day long.
I had a box split for it.
I had a fiver. I had a fiver, a box split. I can see that. They.
I guess I like Connecticut's maybe more so than a lot of the other people on the show.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I always thought that I wasn't a big Connecticut fan, and I've sort of come around to it a little bit. But I also think that that's a function of people are making different Connecticut's now than they were, right? And they're more focused on like getting something that's much more full flavored rather than just smooth, right?
Yeah,
Which was
right.
what it was for a long time.
Good point.
I think. I think the silk is a really good example of that, right? Like Paul does a very good job. Paul Joyle does a very good job of imparting some flavor in that. It's still not something that I would reach for regularly, but I think he did a really, really, really good job.
I think
getting some flavor in that. So maybe if it's along that line, it's something that I would smoke once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Now, I do like the trend of the Connecticut mixed with a spicier profile.
Right. We're going with that.
I think
I smoked one of those
the first
too.
guy who really did it, that really caught my attention, was Ernie with the EPC short run from 2012. I thought that in the Robusto size was like just a really kick-ass cigar. And then Skip did one with the
yeah, that was a very different Connecticut. Yeah. What was
yeah,
that
yeah,
called?
with the Intrigue, right? The B, not the BA, the EC, whatever the number was after it, I forget.
It's an intemperance, yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
is an
awesome
intemperance,
cigar.
Yeah, Will, I want to go back to you and see what else you've been smoking.
Kind of going back to the Caldwell thing, I smoked a cigar. So Robert Caldwell actually has a second company that he's doing some small batch production. It's separate from Caldwell Cigars. The line of cigars was originally called Impromptu Cigars. They're calling it now Bellato, Caldwell, and Sears, and he's partnering with a guy named Tony Bellato, a kid out of the Midwest. I'll just say this about this company. It very much reminded me a little of what Viaje's doing.
Fucking retard.
Very small batches, innovative packaging, so they're doing some jars and things like that. I've smoked this cigar in Chattanooga that I actually have had it before. It's called the 2000 Vintage Stout Corona. And this thing's a juicy little Connecticut broadleaf Corona, real oily. It's got a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. It's all Ligero in the filler. Nicaraguan, Dominican, and Honduran, and it comes at a 5 3/4 by 42. I've smoked this cigar. I really have enjoyed it. That's why I picked one up again. It's stout. It's full strength, full body. It's going to hit you. The thing I really got out of that cigar that was unique, and I think he's using Caldwell's working with the Ventura factory in the Dominican Republic for all this stuff, and this one's also coming out of there. But what I got out of this was when I lived in New York, I used to go past the chock full of nuts coffee places, and they'd have that really that coffee urn aroma and taste. It was very rich, and you got that coffee urn taste in there. It wasn't bitter, but it was just kind of like real. It bit you a bit, and which I kind of like. It's got a lot of pepper in it, so you're gonna get black pepper, a little chili pepper. You're gonna get some natural tobacco sweetness in there as well. I've smoked it. I smoked this probably under higher humidity, and given that it was a Ligero, the burn was a little off on it, so it required a lot of touch-ups. But it wasn't a bad burn; it was just more of a maintenance thing on it. But I like the cigar. It's limited enough where I picked up a few. It's worth a box split in my book. It was an enjoyable. I like what Robert's done with this other company, and I want to get some of these cigars up to you guys. There's some other ones as well. I found them even more unique than what I smoked from Caldwell Collection.
Mm-hmm. Mark Jr., back to you.
To finish my rant, I suppose, on Connecticut wrapped cigars,
I know
my father just launched a new one called the Connecticut Edition, right?
Yep. I smoked this one too. I'm curious to.
And I smoked it in a Corona Gorda.
Yep, me too.
It has the Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Nicaraguan Corojo 99 binder, Nicaraguan Habano, and Criollo filler. I thought this cigar was awesome. And this plays into that sort of movement, I suppose. That's spicier, but with a Connecticut wrapper, right? Mm-hmm. So this one had a lot of spice. It had that Nicaraguan sweetness to it. It had all of that, but it mixed well with the creaminess of a Connecticut wrapper, in my opinion. And on top of it, it had that really great construction that you would expect from my father. And in my opinion, this is probably a box-worthy cigar.
Yeah, and that shows the differences between Mark Jr. and I, when it comes to Connecticut cigars, I wasn't as big a fan as a My Father Connecticut as Mark was. I thought I definitely got the spice component from it. I got that little bit of hint of sweetness. I thought that it was a bit unbalanced, and I didn't get the creaminess component for me when I smoked this one. I'd say it's probably somewhere between a try one and a fiver for me. The construction of mine was excellent as well. I agree that the burn and construction on the My Father cigars are awesome. I didn't enjoy the whole experience as much as Mark Jr.
It's funny. I got the samples, and I think I even talked to Coop with this a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't overly fond. I thought it was good. Then I ordered them, and I'm way on the side with Mark on this one.
Yeah, you're the one that recommended this one.
The Corona Gorda size is really a special cigar. I do get the creaminess, the spice level. I think is right where it should be. It's not over. It doesn't overpower the cigar.
See, that was even too much spice for me in the morning. Maybe I'm a wuss.
Hey, it doesn't have to be a morning cigar though.
Oh, that's true. No,
you know
that's
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can understand that. It surprised me when it came in. It smoked better than a sample that I had. I just felt like that always will have a place for someone. Like Mark was mentioning, with the Connecticut's, the seasoned smoker has that connotation of too smooth, too underwhelming. And if you want that cigar with just a little bit extra, I agree with Mark Jr. I see that box-worthy component to that.
I agree.
I don't necessarily think this would be a morning cigar. I agree with you on that one.
No, right.
I agree. It had a spiciness component. I think that the flavor profile for me was kind of off. I don't think it delivered that flavor profile that I really expect from a Connecticut cigar. I didn't think it was as well balanced as perhaps the other Connecticut that I mentioned from Villicker.
Two totally different cigars.
I think you're right. I think that the My Father Connecticut's in general across the board amp up that strength profile.
Yep.
For me, I kind of, flavor and strength are two different things. And I think that there are a lot of other Connecticut's on the market that really amp up the flavor profile rather than just the strength. So I think there's different approaches to that Connecticut.
Well, that's just what My Father's about. Same with Skip.
Right.
Skip's putting out a great Connecticut that,
his is the most unique, I think. Mm-hmm. Out of a lot of the Connecticut cigars, he's got a very unique profile.
Mm-hmm. And everything, again, not to keep hopping on Skip, I think maybe Coop and Mark Jr. all would agree. What I love about what he's doing, any of his cigars, and nothing's the same. You know what I mean? It's always a different spin to it, and I really think that's so impressive to me.
He's got that uniqueness going for him.
Yeah, that's why I'm so impressed by what he does. I never smoke Aroma Craft and say, wow, this is sort of like something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree.
He really did. I did a Coop. There's on a Connecticut one. He's got one like I don't want to call it out. It's almost like a Petit Lancero size in that Connecticut. The spice level was not that high.
That Panatella.
Yes, the Panatella. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
smoked that too, yep.
Was that off the charts or what?
It was really good. He handed me one before the show, and I smoked it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that's right now. I think it's pretty limited. I think he's only in one shop, but that was a good cigar.
Was that? Yeah, he says, Mark, I know you like the Mode 5. Give this a whirl. Was it? I don't know if it was Skip or Mike. He was whatever. Makes no difference. I was blown away. Totally different from what the other ones. It was just, you talk about a perfect balance. You can smoke that in the morning because the spice level wasn't as strong as the My Father, but the flavor off that thing was incredibly. Oh, super. Who's up next?
Yeah, I think you are.
Oh, what am I doing? I'm over here looking at porn. All right. I know what it was. Coop, you stole my thunder on the New World. One I forgot. This is going back, I think it was released 2011. and we're having a sidewalk sale with 50% off at Mr. J's, and I'll tell you we haven't got a date set in stone. I'll let the listeners know. The España, you know that what I think about the Connecticut. Corona was something very special.
Absolutely.
Yep, I did the short Robusto because I saw some boxes in the back, and the first thing that came to my mind was Paul Asadorian. Let me tell you something. This thing.
What? You had a problem with the burn?
Wait, what did you smoke?
The short Robusto.
Oh, yeah. That's always been a favorite of mine.
I'm telling you, this cigar is at its peak. At its peak, it is smoking phenomenal. What I got off this, I got like a cereal taste, but again, that baker spice, as Coop would say,
yeah.
all day long, and a small little hint of spice, just perfectly balanced. This cigar is box worthy, and the price that's going to be at our sidewalk sale. Yeah, I mean, we only got maybe 2 or 3 boxes left. This cigar is something really unique. It is really, really good. I can see where Paul was hopping on this probably a year ago or so,
yeah,
maybe
or
even
more.
2 years.
Yeah.
He kept saying to me, "You got to try this," and I said, "Let me go back in the vault, pull this out." I'll tell you something, gentlemen. For the price that this is going to go out for, this is going to be a box worthy all day long. All day long. Really impressive. And the Españas are not around very often.
No.
No, they're doing them once a year, I think, now.
I love
Right.
that short Robusto.
Oh, I get it now. I truly I understand what you're saying about that particular Vitola. Excuse me.
I still think the Corona.
Oh, Corona rules. Oh,
You know, when I smoked that blend for the first time, it was the full Robusto. That was the wrong size of smoke. It didn't leave
I
me
agree.
real favorable.
I
It was
agree.
when I went to those other sizes that I really got it with that cigar.
Isn't it funny from a short Robusto to Robusto and different sizes? I agree with you.
Big difference. Big
Oh,
difference.
huge difference. And that's why hand selling makes a difference when you hear different people say, Churchill, Robusto, etc. They all smoke the same. Don't listen to that. That's so far from the truth. And
So I smoked an interesting Cuban cigar. This is the
Ooh.
Partagas Deluxe.
how you say it again?
Deluxe?
I never had that.
Yeah.
Deluxe might be.
Partagas Deluxe. Yeah, Partagas Deluxe Tubo. I'm going to hold up the tube for the camera here. This is a gift from a friend of mine who listens to our Security Weekly show, and maybe even Stogie Geeks as well. He is actually from Denmark and gifted me this Cuban cigar, and I smoked it this morning. This is roughly a 5.5 by 40, making it roughly a Corona size at 140 millimeters by 40. I don't see these kind of available on some of the places where we acquire Cuban cigars, right?
I agree.
This might be an exclusive thing that's sent to Europe. And he gifted me one of these cigars, and I smoked it this morning.
And
I tell you what, for Partagas, if you like stronger cigars and you want to try a Cuban, Partagas is the brand for you. Because I lit this up first thing in the morning, and it had some good punch to it, and it had a nice spice component. It was very smooth. It had that, that Cuban profile of a little bit of earth, more on the cedar end of the flavor spectrum. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I would order these. I would say this is probably a box split.
Yep.
With age, these things would age phenomenally. If you could get these 5, 10 years old, they would just be awesome. Hey, Dave, are you still on the line?
Yep.
Have you ever had the Partagas Deluxe Tubo before? Or anything from Partagas in that similar?
Well, just the other day I had the Lusitania.
Oh, yeah.
That's a hit or miss.
That's amazing cigar.
If
And I
you
had
get
the
one that
Partagas
burns
shorts.
Right. I
Partagas
love
shorts,
it.
yeah.
You know, it's another one that's Mark Jr., I know you've had this. Maybe, Dave, I'll ask you too. The Partagas 5?
No, but that I'm getting it because it's really big up here. That and the 4 as well.
The number 5 is really unique. I really, because everyone goes for the 4. The 5, I just did it on the whim. Just something, when we try something, I like the Partagas family. Mark, Mark Jr., have you had that before?
No.
I'll have to hook everybody up with that.
Hook Hook it up, dog.
You got it. It's done.
Mr. Will Cooper, you got more cigars for us?
So my smoke of the week, and this is an absolute home run that came out of the show. It's just starting to come to stores. Is the Casa Fernandez Aniversario Series 2014. So last year, Casa Fernandez released a limited their 35th anniversary cigar, the Boheme. It was one of my favorite cigars, like really out of last year. I didn't have it on my list last year because it came out so late. But, I mean, that's a home run blend. So what they've done is they've tweaked the blend a bit, and they've come out with it in a new size, which is a 6.5 by 52. It's all Aganorsa tobacco from the Casa Fernandez farms with a Corojo wrapper. This, I cannot tell you how good this cigar was.
That's a unique
it's a little more amped up than the 35th anniversary, which I don't think you guys have smoked, so it's kind of hard to, I know it's a little hard to baseline it, but this cigar, it's got this combination of caramel and cherry kind of playing on with each other. There's a bready component in the background, almost that cereal-like component that you just mentioned on the España. There's some spice at the end of this. I smoked 2 of these. Medium to full strength, full-bodied smoke. I just love this cigar. It's a fight Chuck Norris as of now. It could go to Oasis. I'm going to be getting more of these. I got to get these in your hands because if you guys have not smoked this cigar, it's that good. And I've been I was talking before the show, what Casa Fernandez has done in the last 2 years has been off the charts good with what they've been coming out with. And they have a couple of other cigars they came out with at the show that I'll talk about as well. Great cigar. I mean, I got to get this in your hands to see if what you guys think.
Remember he did the Reserva, was it Miami Reserva?
You know, I don't know if you guys remember, Seth, when he was on, sent us an Unbanded, and we smoked that. I think Stogie said you weren't there.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I didn't really love that cigar when it came out because it just knocked me on my ass, right? But that cigar was really good.
Really good. I remember that show.
Yeah.
Because that's what he did with he did the Miami Reserva or something Reserve blend.
That's it. That's the Miami. Casa Fernandez Miami.
That thing was good, but that thing was strong.
Yeah, it's tamed down a bit. It definitely has come down because it knocked. I remember when I had it when it first came out, and it knocked me on my butt. I was walking the trade show
I'm glad
floor,
you said that.
and my legs turned
I'm not
to rubber when I had it.
Yep.
But it's definitely come down. It's much more balanced now.
So, Will, I'm going to talk about one that you've talked about on the show before, and that's the Leaf by Oscar.
Yeah.
This is the Corojo. And
that's the one I haven't smoked yet.
So I want to just say that the packaging is awesome. I think to wrap your cigar in a tobacco leaf, I think that's really cool. I don't know if it adds to the flavor.
Well, I think it does because if you look at the wrapper, under it the oil comes to the top.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. You're not a big fan. Oh, I smoked the Corojo.
Go ahead.
Again, I thought that the packaging was really cool. I took the band off, and then you got to unwrap the leaf from the cigar. That whole process was like really cool. Like the hold the leaf of the cigar. I think that was really cool.
Okay,
so it's got a cool factor that it kind of factored into my rating a little bit because I did think it was so cool. I do want to caution people that someone told me that people were buying this cigar
and lighting up the way
smoking it and saying it was like horrible because they didn't take the wrapper off the cigar. So when you get these Leaf by Oscars, make sure you tell your friends and fellow Stogie geeks you take the band off and you got to take the tobacco leaf.
Whoa. If you're a Stogie geek, I think you
should know that, right? If you listen to the show, you've heard Will's description of it. But yeah, make sure you take the cigar leaf off of the band and then the leaf off of the cigar, right? And caution your friends to do the same. They aren't seasoned cigar smokers, and it's a really cool cigar. I'd call it a 5-er. It had some of that, a little bit of spice, a little bit of that Corojo kind of sweetness. Not overly sweet by any stretch of the imagination. I thought it was a solid cigar. It was just about a 5-er in my book. I thought it was good. It wasn't something that required a lot of attention. You could be doing something else and still get the experience in the cigar.
I just find the price point for this cigar is just too high.
Yeah. What's the price point on these? Mr. J. Savannah has these.
Well, we have them at a cheaper price than most. they're going for like most retailers are $9 to $10.
This is like 8 something, 850.
I'll
This
tell
is
you
a
what.
Toro
You're gonna
size.
think I'm crazy when I say this. The one that surprised me the most was the Connecticut.
Connecticut in this blend, and he wraps them all with the cigar leaf around them.
Right. The Connecticut.
Tell you what, you
caught
gotta
me by
buy some
surprise.
just to get the whole.
No, you gotta try it. I
Yeah.
just find that when you put in that price at the $9 to $10 range for most places, I can find something.
Well, I'm sure the tobacco leaf he uses to wrap that cigar adds to the cost, obviously.
Right, and are you smoking that leaf?
No, I mean I hung it up in my office because I thought it was cool. But
That's
it's a cool
fine.
factor. It's a cool
No,
factor.
it is. I find it okay. I think
I mean,
this,
will it age better maybe being wrapped in tobacco? I don't know.
I don't
mean,
know. I don't
when
know.
you wrap stuff in
I
bacon,
give
Yeah, and I
he-
thought
he's-
the oils really came to the surface on those. I've smoked 3 of the 4 blends. The Corolla is
Yeah.
the one I haven't smoked, and I was really surprised how much oils all those wrappers had
I
once
mean,
you pulled the tobacco leaf off.
it's like when you wrap stuff in bacon, it tastes better. This
I-
doesn't have quite the same effect, but I think you're right, Will. I think it does add to the smoking experience in terms of maybe flavor, maybe oils. You know what I mean? No,
whatever.
Mark?
You don't think
no.
so? Don't you
No,
say
no,
so?
I
Doesn't
just
sound not
I don't.
convinced.
I really don't. But I mean, who am I?
Again, it was just barely a fiver. in
But
my book in terms of-
I'll
yeah.
tell you what. The one that caught me by surprise was the Connecticut.
Connecticut.
It really did. That was a good cigar for Connecticut. It really was.
Does anyone else have cigars that they would like to talk about?
I have cigars. I just don't want to talk about that one. But
How about our guest in Australia?
Yeah, Mr. Dave.
What's your smoke of the week?
Yeah, I'd be interested. Well, I know what you guys think, but I had finally the Aquitaine Mode 5 by Roma
wrong
Craft.
guy.
What I loved about that cigar was, for me, I found every aspect was balanced. The strength, the flavor, the construction, the attention to detail in the construction, the draw. It was all really well made. I was amazed by that cigar.
How about the amount of smoke that cigar puts out for that little cigar?
Oh,
Let's put
I love the smoke. What I love too is that it's like a good rich flavor that was balanced by a good strength.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me a lot of. I really like the Bolivar Royal Corona,
Yep.
and it reminded me of that with the terms of like a strong cigar, but still didn't kill your palate and was really rich and had a really good smoke. That Vitola as well, that kind of short Perfecto, I love that as well.
I think that's the
I
of
agree.
all the
You hit the nail on
Accutane.
the head there.
That's the bell of
That's
ball
the
for
one.
me.
That's the one.
Cool.
I mean, honestly, I had that cigar and I just want to buy a bunch and then just like walk around Australia and just hand them out to people door by door because it's just such.
It will.
great
Yeah.
cigar.
No, you're right, Dave. That is a cigar that you could give to. It's kind of in the same class of Debonair, right? You give that cigar to even the seasoned cigar smoker, and I think that 99% of them are going to be totally wowed.
I
by
went
that
through
cigar
25 boxes of those.
in the store.
And I'm
How
sold
many?
out.
You went through at least 5 boxes yourself.
Oh, needless to say. As soon as I walk over, Skip, hey, like this
Now,
first
did
thing
you have a lot of? I'm
Here you
curious,
go.
Did you have a lot of box sales of those, or a lot of people kind of buying fivers? Or?
Minimum fivers.
Yeah.
Minimum.
It was weird. It was kind do they come in boxes of 25 or 50?
No, those are 25.
25. Okay.
And the whole
What do
thing.
you think the rating is on that cigar? If you could put
to
a rating.
me, right, that's a wet spot for me.
Yeah.
That's a wet spot. That cigar is.
That cigar defined the wet spot, so I'd be
I'm
ashamed
sorry,
of myself if it wasn't at
that's-
least a 4.75.
I'm a whore for
wet spot
Skip.
in
I
my
think he
shorts.
does
Yeah.
a fabulous job. He has a passion for what he's doing, and he's always thinking outside the box. Everything he does, he puts his hands on. What I love about what he does, again, not to be redundant, everything is different. Everything he does.
Yeah.
I mean, you do the Accutane and different sizes. It performs well, but I think the balance on the Accutane is just on the Mode 5 is
Mode 5's off the charts.
but yet, no, it's funny. Me and Mark Judy came in the store. The two things I'm sold out of, and me and Mark are in agreement with this. Mark Jr. The Accutane Mode 5 and the Anthropology on the Cro-Magnon.
Yep.
Right.
Both of them sold out.
Interesting.
I just can't keep them in the store.
yeah,
keep
you
'em in
guys
the
have been
store.
like hammering the Roma Craft.
Oh yeah,
man. Hammering the Roma
I'm a
Craft.
Roma Craft slut. There's no doubt about it.
Has anyone there had the Neanderthal, the new one. He's coming out. And what did you guys think
I
of that?
like Mark Jr. I gifted him one. I'll tell you, it's a rough. It's a perfect name. It's a caveman cigar. You look at it. It's not the looks of the cigar is not the prettiest looking cigars, but it delivers in flavor and strength. What's going to happen, Mark Jr.? Do you feel that the nicotine level was high on that?
I didn't think it was terribly high, but it was definitely there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it blows you away, but I really enjoyed that smoke. I really liked it a lot.
Oh, me too. I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that, and hopefully, I was just talking with Mike Rosales, and hopefully, I'm just begging for stuff for that to come in by the end of the week. It really is. We've done very well with that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the blockhead's coming in for me.
I like the blockheads a lot.
That's a personal. I hate to be. I just said I know that's exclusive for my personal stash. That's something I really want to experience. I can just imagine Cooper's just raving about that cigar. So
I want to try these Panatellas.
Oh,
that was another good one.
Yep. And the intemperance flies under the radar, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's a great smoke. I really do. Everything again.
That Petite Corona in the Brazilian wrap.
Oh,
It's the first Roma craft that I had. It was an unbanded given to us by a listener, Paul. Maybe you can remember who it was. It was back when we were in your
in the workshop.
Yeah, in the workshop, man.
In the woodshed.
And I mean, since then I've been incredibly impressed, and I'm all about it.
I mean that means it just never stops. It never stops. When you have that kind of passion, it shows.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm impressed
Yeah,
with how well made they are. Like how, because some cigars near the end they sort of fall apart a bit, but his looks so well crafted. Like there's such an attention to the construction of the cigar. I found.
Yeah, I burned my fingers on many a Mode 5.
I call it the back nine, my friend, and the back nine of his cigar is incredible. It intensifies as it gets. Every cigar I smoke I nub it. I nub it, every one of them.
Hey, Will, do we have updates on contests? We're running a little short on time here, so I want to make sure we.
I have one open contest. The one for best Stogie Geeks moments from episode 100. I'll pick a winner next week for that.
Okay.
So that contest is still open.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to Dave for joining us all the way from
Thank you,
Australia.
Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
And
Thanks for having me on.
I'll have Coop send me your Addy, and I'll send you my email. And please keep in touch. And whatever I can do for you, please reach out.
Thanks
Yeah,
everyone.
Dave,
Join.
thank you.
Make sure you join
Dave.
the CRA, and we'll see everyone next week even
Week,
on
week,
the
week.
Stogie Geek Show. Thanks for listening.
Guys, stay on the line. Stogie Geeks.
I wanna.
I got important things.